Arsenal lost to West Ham on the weekend, and I, for one, loved it. I enjoyed every minute of it. You know, I'm a simple girl. I see Arsenal lose. It's fun. Anyway, one thing I did want to talk about that I noticed very heavily is Leah Williamson. And this is a good video, guys. This is a good video for Arsenal fans. I thought maybe I could delve into, you know, West Ham or what they did right. But the thing that was on my mind was Leah Williamson and how good she is to Arsenal. And how that is a blessing, but it's also a curse. It is also a very big problem. But I wanted to talk about what she did in the first half and the fact that she wasn't there in the second half that completely changed the game. I'll be honest, I wasn't happy for her when I saw that she started, and that's not me being rude. I thought it was too soon. I still do. I'm still quite nervous every time I see that woman play. You know, it's just me with the ACLs. I can't watch someone play. It really like scares me that if they get one little injury, their confidence is knocked and mentally they're really bad. So I was scared when I first saw her starting. I was like, oh, you know, she's only had what, 30 minutes of competitive time before that. You're putting her into a very big match, but I don't know if Yona saw it as a big match, I'll be honest. Now, her first, when she was on the pitch, one thing I noticed was that defence wasn't shaky, and I only noticed it in the second half, because in the second half, the defence, when Ilestead came on for Williamson, the defence was dreadful. It was horrific. They were moving at a snail's pace. If you want to rewatch the match, watch it. They were, even when they were 2-1 down, you would think, have some urgency, you know, sit there, move the ball. They were moving it so slow. But when Leah Williamson was on the pitch, it was fast, it was fast, it was quick. They had this sense of stability and confidence when she was on the pitch. And I didn't notice that it disappeared until she came off. It was one of those things where you just sat there and thought, oh, this is just Arsenal, because sometimes they turn up, sometimes they don't. Also, one thing I noticed was Leah was the deepest defender, which is normally, I don't actually remember, probably that's what she does. I haven't watched that woman play for a long time. I don't know if that was new. But she was sweeping up all the balls. For the first half, West Ham couldn't get out of their half. It was very rare they had a counter. And that was because every single time a ball went over or West Ham won the ball back, there was Leah Williamson there, and she just got the ball and played another ball. Also, I don't know if this has anything to do with the ACL. West Ham weren't really marking Leah Williamson. They weren't really doing anything with Leah Williamson. Now, I don't know if that was mentally that the West Ham players didn't really want to touch her or anything. I don't know if that was just me thinking that, and they did. But she wasn't really marked. She wasn't really pressed that hard. She had a lot of time on the ball. And she did a lot of good things for Arsenal that they desperately missed in the second half. Leah Williamson's ability to break the lines through nothing, I think, needs to be studied. We've seen it a lot. I think if you haven't watched Leah Williamson play, it's beautiful the way she just breaks it. She does these balls and they're so simple. She'll pass it to forward normally. Normally it's forward, sometimes it's mid, just on the wings, and she'll just cut out like a bunch of defenders, a bunch of West Ham players as well. It's a beautiful thing, and I feel like that's what Arsenal were missing, especially in the second half. They just kept playing the same balls over and over again, and they weren't really taking risks. They weren't taking any risks. They were sat there going, oh, this ball didn't work out, let's just play it back. Let's just play it back. Let's play it back to the keeper. And obviously it was so slow, and you just started thinking they lost all the momentum. When Williamson was on the pitch, it was just constant balls forward. Now, granted, she didn't get all those balls correct. Some of the times she missed them. Some of the times the balls were too hard. But at least she's trying. I didn't see that from any other defender yesterday, sorry. I didn't see that from anyone. And they were just doing the same things over and over again. And when Williamson was playing those balls, it was a breath of fresh air, if I'm being honest, because she was doing something different to everyone else. And it's so easy for West Ham to defend against when you're just playing these short balls, these balls on the floor, because they can deal with balls that are on the floor. They know how to deal with that. They're very smart. A lot of the West Ham players, they know what they're doing. They're professional, they know what they're doing. They're not going to lose any concentration over this long period of time. Maybe that's what Arsenal were trying to do. They were trying to make West Ham lose their concentration, but it didn't work, did it? In the second half, I don't remember how many balls there were from the defence. I don't remember how many. All I really remember was it was just decision making was just bad in the second half. Now, I'm not saying that's all up to Leah Williamson leaving the pitch. I'm not saying that, but it was bad altogether, especially from the defence. They just weren't. It was like half time happened, a flip just switched, and they were just like, okay, I'm not going to play the ball forward anymore because I'm too scared that anything will happen. I'm not going to do any of that. One quality of Leah Williamson that's always talked about, but I feel like I had to mention, was the leadership. Arsenal don't really have many leaders now. They got rid of Jen, who I thought was a very big leader for them. Katie couldn't play, McCabe couldn't play because of her suspensions that, you know, all Arsenal fans were like, oh my god, so smart, so smart. They ended up losing this match. Kim Little wasn't playing. She had like a lot of injuries, to be fair. So, and that was left with Leah Williamson. And she's obviously a huge leader on that pitch. Like, if I had to pick a leader, it'd probably be her. But when she came off that pitch, there really were no leaders there, and you could sort of tell that their discipline had sort of went down. And like, people may be saying, oh, you're reading too much into it, you're reading too much into it. Leadership doesn't actually help, but it does. It does. And Arsenal had this huge array of like leaders, and then they all got injured or suspended, and they were just like, okay. And maybe it would have been better if Katie McCabe was there. Maybe the second half wouldn't have been as bad if Katie McCabe was there, because, you know, she sort of gives that leadership quality that Leah Williamson has. But she wasn't there. She wasn't there. And I feel like it also links instability. I feel like when the defence see that next to them is, oh, that's Leah Williamson, it's sort of like, yeah, we can do this. Yeah, we can do this, because she's there. I've been presenting this whole Leah Williamson thing as a positive thing. But now that I think about it, I don't really know if it's that positive. Yes, it's very good. You know, you've got Leah Williamson back. But the fact that you're relying on one player who's just had a horrific injury, who's coming back from a very long-term injury, who cannot play 90 minutes at a time, remember, you know, it's not something that she will just get over. She will not be able to play 90 minutes for a very long time, in my opinion. I sort of thought that it would have been the opposite way around, that she would have come on at half-time. I feel like that would have made more sense, to see out the game instead of going on at the start and then not sit. I don't know, maybe he should start doing that, Jonas. But it's not a very good thing, because you cannot just, as a team that is such good quality, have one substitution, all of a sudden your team just crumbles. Your team cannot just crumble because Leah Williamson is off. Your team should not rely on one player, because that is unnecessary stress on that player. But also, how is that? How is all of your stability, all of your work, everything you're doing just going because one player's been subbed off? It's not a very good thing. Obviously, she's just had an ACL. She's not going to be starting many games. I'll be honest, if she does, I'd be worried for her. I'm honest, I will be worried for her, because I don't think she should be, you know, playing this many minutes in a very competitive sense as well. This isn't, you know, Blackpool in the Continental Cup. These are competitive matches. I don't think she should start against United. I personally don't. I don't think she should touch United anywhere with a barge pole. I also don't think she should start against City, because I don't, you know, you're going up against very tough opposition with City. Sure, a very, you know, she knows what she's doing. These players are smart. These players are a lot more likely to get into your box than West Ham. West Ham are more of a counter-attacking team. City aren't. City are a team that will just be there constantly. And you have the feeling that if one mistake happens, mentally that could ruin her as well. But physically, I'm also scared. I'm scared for all of the ACL people. Every single time they touch the ball, every single time they go down on the floor, every single thing that happens, I have a fear for them, regardless of what team they play for, because that's the thing called empathy. So I don't think it's necessarily a good thing for Arsenal that, you know, oh, Leah Williamson is turning our team around, because your team should be good without Leah Williamson. I know the reason why Arsenal lost is not all up to Leah Williamson leaving the pitch. Maybe they would have lost if Leah Williamson was off the pitch. I have no idea. We don't know. We have no clue. But Leah Williamson had to be taken off. There's no way she could have played 90 minutes at a time. And if she did, I wouldn't know what they were doing. I've shown some worry for Leah Williamson. I'll be honest. I didn't think she should be starting. That's my opinion. Apparently you're not allowed to say that though, because you will be attacked by Arsenal fans, because, you know, we're not doctors, but I still don't think she should be starting. You look at other players who've got ACLs, and they were gradually put into it. That was the whole thing, and she hasn't been gradually put into it. She got gradually put into Reading, played 30 minutes, and then didn't play Liverpool, which was what I was expecting, and then just got shoved into West Ham for 45 minutes. And if they just keep doing that, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be problems. I don't know if that people just want to keep rushing. It's like, yes, you do need Leah Williamson, but you don't want to cause anything along the way that will harm her progress, especially mentally, especially physically. there are a lot of problems that can happen due to these ACLs. So I just think it's maybe Arsenal should be better. Sorry, that's so like, maybe Arsenal should just get better. But they shouldn't have to rely on just one player. They shouldn't, you know, one player shouldn't go off and your whole team just switches around and your whole team just can't do anything. Play to your strengths. If the defenders that aren't Leah Williamson cannot play long balls, don't play long balls then. You know, try and find a way out of it. It is great seeing Leah Williamson back, obviously. I have empathy, guys. I love to see people who have just gone through horrific injuries come back. Of course I do. But you cannot rely on her, would be my thing. Don't rely on her. Don't sit there and go, oh, but if Leah Williamson, like, you know, it's sad, but you cannot just rely on her to do everything. Thank you for watching. I was just really interested in the Leah Williamson thing because I was watching it. And, like, half time went out and Arsenal were 1-0 up, weren't they? Yeah, they were. Sorry, I'm remembering. They were 1-0 up. I thought they were going to steamroll it, and then they just dived into this horrific thing. Even before the penalty happened, they just weren't good. And West Ham just knew their weaknesses. They took advantage of them, and they did it. And I think, you know, I don't know if it's definitely a managerial problem. It's Jonas. It's 100% Jonas. But yeah, I don't know how their problems are going to be solved. Get a new manager, just get a new manager. It's simple as that. It's not as simple as that because you also need to, you know, maybe sort out your defence. But that's an issue for the summer, and it's not an issue for me because I'm not an Arsenal fan. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, it'd be very nice. Please like, it'd be very nice. If you guys want me to do any more videos, please ask me. You know, you guys can request a video. I've got a lot of video requests that I'm trying to work my way through. Also, I do have a life, so it's quite hard sometimes to do these things, but I'm making it work. I just enjoy doing these things. I enjoy talking about it. I know I'm no expert. Like, sometimes I sit there and I think, I'm just talking to a camera and I'm not an expert. Like, what am I doing? But, you know, that's just life. I'm a football watcher. I assume most of you lot are football watchers. So, yeah, I just like to talk about football. That's it. I've got a passion and I love it. Believe it or not, guys, Ripley's. I actually love football. Shock horror. Anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye.